mounts in World of Warcraft. Everybody's favorite thing to collect, and now everybody's favorite thing to argue about and go on Twitter rants about. And what exactly are they arguing about? Well, they're arguing about the prestige, how cool a mount is and how cool, you look if you're the one who has it. And I touched on this a little bit in my last video, but this all started with the new Mists of Pandaria remix event. And in this remix event, they're giving out all these old Mists of Pandaria drop mounts for the new currency called Bronze, which you can grind. So these mounts go from being RNG drops to now something that you can actually work towards and get and know when you're going to get them based on how much work you have to put in. Now, originally, these mounts, you had to go and get them from a world boss in Mists of Pandaria. And let me tell you, these things, they were kind of hard to get. Because first off, you could only do them once a week per character. And at the time, it was a world boss, so, you couldn't do it by yourself. You had to have a group of people together. And originally, the drop chance on these things were a 1 in 2,000% chance. That's like ridiculously hard. Meaning, like, if you only had one character a week to farm this on, and you did it every single week, it would on average take somebody 38 years to get one. So if you only had one character in Mists of Pandaria and you were farming it, odds are you still would be farming it today, but there was some changes, and we're going to get to that here in a second. Now, I'll be honest, back in the day, these mounts had some prestige, Son of Galleon, the Undasta mount, but most importantly, the Shah of Anger mount, the Heavenly Onyx Cloud Serpent, which is the main mount of the debate today. Everybody's talking about it, but all the other mounts are actually just as equally, quote, rare to get. They're just not as prestigious because they're simply just not as cool looking. So yes, I would agree with a lot of these people that the prestige of this mount is being ruined if things never changed since the Mists of Pandaria on this mount. But this mount has been through some changes. Like after Mists of Pandaria ended, I don't exactly know how long after Mists of Pandaria ended, but this mount did eventually end up on the black market auction house, as well as the Son of Galleon and all the other ones. I'm going to group all these together, but I'm mostly just going to refer to the Shah of Anger mount because that's the one everybody's talking about and it's the most beloved one. But these things showed up on the black market auction house. And the black market auction house, if you didn't know, it's an auction house. Every server has a different one, and every single day there's new items that go up for auction, and it's mostly stuff that's been removed from the game, as well as really rare drop mounts. And these mounts were a part of that. So now, instead of being forced to farm this every single week on all your characters if you wanted it, you could now bypass that if you're just a really rich guy and have a lot of money to spend. Because you just load your account up with 10 million gold, it costs about $1,000. You sit and you wait for it to show up on your black market auction house on your server, and then you just instantly put it up for a gold cap, and there you go, now the mount's yours. And this even goes for the Swift Zulian Tiger. Looked at by a lot of players as one of the most coolest, prestigious mounts in the game. It was originally a 1% drop chance from a vanilla raid back in the day, but in the Cataclysm expansion, it was taken away whenever they redid that raid into a dungeon. And this thing became fully unobtainable for quite some time until they eventually added it to the black market auction house. And then once again, you could get it from just being a rich guy in real life. And to be honest, black market auction house items could actually be cool, and the mounts could still be prestigious and stuff if it wasn't for just one thing: being able to buy gold with real money. Because yeah, winning an auction against the entire server for a rare item in the game would be really cool if you actually had to earn the gold yourself. But instead, all those big ticket items goes to whatever person with gold cap checks the black market first thing in the morning. They're the first one there, they see the rare item. Oh, they're just going to put 10 million on it, and now nobody else gets it. And then they're just going to put another $1,000 back into their account to get gold cap again. And this kind of brings it to a bigger conversation overall. Because ever since they made it where you can buy gold in the game, I'd say the prestige of just about everything in the game has gone down. Because almost everything can be bought with gold, which you can just buy with money. You can buy all these things from the black market auction house. You could buy carries for just about anything with gold. Like, if you have a big bank account, you can get ahead of people. Some things might cost a lot, but you can definitely get ahead if the price is right. And that leaves us with just very few prestigious mounts left in the game, in my opinion. To name a few, you got the Black Proto Drake. For some reason, the Plague Proto Drake Drake, which you got for doing pretty much the same thing. That one was added to the black market auction house, but the black Proto Drake never was. And you also got older Gladiator mounts. And I say older ones because, well, you can buy carries for Gladiator. I'm sure people did that back in the day, but I'm sure it's much more of a popular thing to do now than it was back in the day. But there is only one mount out there with so much prestige that I will stop, turn my head, and be like, damn, that guy's cool. And that is, of course, the Scarab Lord mount, the Black Kiraji battle tank. This thing was from Vanilla WoW, and it was never brought back with another way to get it. The method to get it was absolutely insane. You had to do one of the biggest quest lines in the game. Almost nobody did, alright? Like, I don't have a number of people who completed the Scarab Lord quest line, but I assume it's pretty low. Especially the amount of people who completed it who still play the game, too. I only ever saw other people in my own gameplay with this thing 2 or 3 times in my entire time playing WoW. If you have that thing, people know you are a Giga Chad. And it was so early into WoW's life that I really highly doubt there was anybody paying for Scarab Lord carries in 2006. Like, I don't even know how that carry would work. Would you, like, pay people just for certain parts of it? Would you pay somebody to do the entire quest line and help you? Like, how would a carry for that have even worked? Now, this whole conversation of these mounts and the prestige of them and giving them away for other methods, it's brought a lot of conversation. I do want to bring up some of the points that other creators and people in the community I saw were saying and give my opinion of their opinion. Now, first, we have Zaryu here, another big WoW creator, who says, this is a clear example of trading a short-term dopamine hit for the game's long-term satisfaction and stability. Don't think this is the right move forward. Now, I do completely have to disagree with Zaryu here. I can see what he's trying to say and what he's trying to get at, but I just really don't see it that way. I don't think people are looking at this mount the same way that they were back in the day. And I know Zaryu played a lot back in Mists of Pandaria, so I feel like he even probably thinks of that mount the same way that he thought of it back in the day, which I'll give it to him. Back in the day, that mount was prestigious and cool, and everybody wanted their hands on it. But it's been 10 years. It's not as prestigious because it was easier to get anyway. I don't know how I didn't bring this up earlier, but these mounts in the Mists of Pandaria remix are actually a lot harder to farm than a lot of people are realizing. The Onyx Cloud Serpent alone is around like 38,000 bronze, and I don't know if people really realize how much that is. Sure, it's not an insane amount, and there is other mounts on there going up towards 50,000, but all of the new mounts that are like actual new mounts and weren't in the game before this are around 3,000 bronze, meaning that these old mounts that are, quote, rare, literally take 10 times the amount of effort to get as the new mounts. And another thing I don't know how I mentioned up until this point, back when Dragonflight pre-patch first came out and the Draktheirs were added to the game, Blizzard made an oopsies, and they had Draktheirs have a 100% drop rate on all of the Mists of Pandaria world mounts. Now, they did patch this a few days later, but when they patched this, they changed all of the drop rates on these mounts from 1 in 2,000 chance to a 1 in 100 chance, meaning that these things are now the exact same prestige and rarity of all of the old 1% raid and dungeon drop mounts. And to be honest, I'd say that they have less prestige, because let me explain. Say a mount like Invincible. A lot of people have Invincible, but now Invincible and the Onyx Cloud Serpent have the exact same drop rate. But Invincible, you have to run through the entirety of Icecrown Citadel on all your characters that you want to do this on every single week. There is no skip to the end yet. I think they will add it eventually, but as of right now, there is no skip to the Lich King. And on top of that, all the Mists of Pandaria world drop mounts, you are able to get bonus rolls for, so that you technically get 2 chances every single time you go for it. And for mounts like Invincible and other raid ones, you have to clear the entire thing, whereas these world bosses, you kind of just have to show up, and they're on 15-minute timers. So you just hop on a different alt every 15 minutes and get it. Now, Zaryu did make a whole video about this conversation, and I'm not going to talk about all of his points here, but one of his main points was that he was upset when they changed the original method of obtaining something and add new or / easier ways to obtain them. And I can kind of understand this. I'm not going to argue with that. You know, that's kind of understandable, but I feel like there's a lot of things in WoW that have changed their method of obtaining them, and is this going to be the one that we cherry pick and get upset about? But hey, I respect Zaryu's opinion, and I respect everybody's opinion. So if you don't think about this the same way as I do, That's fine. Now here's this other guy I saw on Twitter who says, "This is the perspective I have of most of you idiots who think it's about, quote, prestige. You guys just want to see people get fucked over. You don't actually care about the mounts." Now, I care about these mounts. I spent tons of hours farming these mounts. I have every single one of the Mists of Pandaria world drop mounts. And when he says that you just want to see people get fucked over, I do think it would be kind of funny to see people get, quote, fucked over who think that there is prestige to these mounts because, well, they're just mounts. It's not that serious. I think that these players just want to feel superior to other players because they sat for 15 minutes at a boss 10 times a week for multiple years. They don't want other people to get it without having to go through the same grueling hardships they did. But guess what? A lot of us didn't have to go through the same grueling hardships that people in Mists of Pandaria went through because we got them when they were 1% and not 1 in 2,000 anymore. And we also have a take here from the WoW content creator Asmongold saying, "Everybody mad would have a point if you couldn't buy this from the black market auction house with real money via tokens, or if Blizzard hadn't changed the drop rate in 2002 because they effed up and made it guaranteed drop for Drakthir. This game has no integrity. It's over." Yeah, Asmongold, pretty much, he gets it spot on here for the most part. I spent the entire video explaining, the other things that he said. I just wanted to say that he was right. But yeah, none of these mounts really have any prestige anymore, I don't feel like. And another big one that people get mad about the prestige being ruined are trading card game mounts. If you guys didn't know, back in the day, there was a thing called the World of Warcraft trading card game where it was like Pokemon cards, but for WoW. And there was some super rare cards that had a code on them to get mounts or toys or pets in the game. And it's been a long time since those were a thing, and you could buy them online on websites for thousands of dollars at this point. And Blizzard decided, you know what, we're just going to take some of these and just give them away for free now. And I saw a lot of people arguing about those trading card mounts, saying that their prestige was ruined. Well, these things I feel like never had prestige. I see people try to make the argument that you had to be there back in the day opening the packs and it was so cool and prestigious when you opened a card pack and got one. But people were selling these things on day one that they released. Like, as soon as these cards came out, people were opening the packs just to get them and sell them online. Now, I'll be honest, spending all that money on a mount from a third-party website, that's kind of like buying an NFT, but in WoW. Except you can't trade it once you use it and have it in-game. And a lot of these mounts are just cool and iconic from back in the day, so we kind of just want them, man. And I don't want to pay $2,500 for the magic cock mount. Like, I've been wanting this thing my whole life, and I will get it one day, because one day Blizzard will give it to me for free, and I can't wait to see people cry about it. Now, there's also the Spectral Tiger, which I think they'll give away for free one day. I know they did on some other servers, but I don't really care about that one as much as I care about the magic cock. But overall, I do feel like most of these mounts only really have prestige when they are new and current. And I think that's not really a bad thing, because after a while, more people just have a mount, and when more people have a mount, it's kind of less prestigious. So if you want to have a mount that's prestigious, go and do whatever new content gives you the new prestigious mount. Like right now when I'm recording this video, I'd say a prestigious mount you could work towards getting is the Dragonflight Meta Achievement mount, because this thing has a lot of steps, and it's going to be a little while before everybody gets it. And I don't think everybody's going to get this, because it's got so many steps and so many things to do that I think a lot of people are just going to give up and not do it. And specifically with the Mists of Pandaria mounts that we've been talking about, I kind of just don't get it. It's been over a decade. Who cares? The prestige is gone. Let people have the stuff. Everything that they're giving away, you can still get in the game already. It's not like they're giving away the challenge mode sets. I truly just feel like a lot of the people upset at this are just people who want to feel superior to other players because they did something 10 years ago. It's kind of like Recruit a Friend mounts. Like, they gave away some of the old Recruit a Friend mounts and people got upset. Like, I'm sorry, it's not prestige that you had friends willing to pay for the game 10 years ago when other people didn't. Anyways, that's my thoughts on this whole overall situation. I love mounts though, and I'm gonna keep collecting them, and you should too. Let me know what you think down below, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. I'm not gonna be angry if you disagree with me. I'll respect you guys' opinions, but yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace out, everyone.